told me when I was young, don't play with fire, be careful, son. But we were flames and fell in love. We burned the cities down, down. That's why you learned your lesson. You won't be lonely if you fall in love. Over and over again and again. can give you one more chance. You're only living in your damn head. Without you by my side, I can't survive. Cause without you by my side, I can't survive.
Welcome on to the Meraki Major. So today we have the second quarterfinals of the console side. So whoever wins this side goes to the semifinals and plays against Phoenix Esports. So today's teams facing off one another, of course, are VDROP and Team PYK. Both very exciting teams to play off. Can't wait to see what both teams have in store for us. And of course, so both PYK have won both teams have both won 4 games, lost 1. So according to the stats, it should be a very close game. Can't wait to see what they bring forward to the table. And of course, I'm your caster, plays. I'm a caster and a partner streamer for ADG, which is an Alley Dogs Gaming, which is an esports organization with my co-caster Kudu. So Kudu, please can you continue this and bring on what the teams have? If you have any stats, please let us know what they are. And yeah, please introduce yourself.
Hey, how are you going, everyone? Thanks so much, Plet, for the kind words. So obviously, my name is Kudu. I'm the co-founder of Viber Network and a caster for ADG. So if you ever want to take your esports or gaming career seriously, definitely sign up onto our beta page for Viber Network. We're definitely trying to just help connect you guys and bring some validity into this esports world. So yeah, as Plet was saying, today we have VDROP versus Team PYK. Should be an absolute banger of a game. We have the African Shiko and African Joystick sitting in the lobby. So pretty exciting to see what they have got going. I did kind of bring up some of the players' stats today. It seems like these players have, fairly high headshot percentages, especially for PlayStation players who definitely have that mechanical skill. I'm looking forward to seeing them play on Organ. Obviously, 2 days ago, when we were casting the other PS4 matches, We saw also some great gameplay on Organ, which actually had the teams facing off each other pretty close by. So, Plet, do you think that we're going to have a extremely close match today, as we have seen in the past on this map?
I mean, looking back at yesterday's game, I think it's very unexpected, very close. Of course, being a console side as well. I reckon it'll probably be the same type of strats. I mean, exactly how we played out is, of course, depending on the teams ahead of us. And I think, I don't know, seen over yesterday, a lot of the teams avoided kitchen side. So it'll either be top ground control or right at the bottom in basement. I mean, if we see the same thing, I'm expecting a very close game. Just comes down to what strats and plans that they both have planned out for us. And honestly, I think it should be a pretty close game between all the maps, of course. So the first map we are starting off with is, of course, Oregon. And then from map 2, we're going to Fella. And then from there, if we do make it to map 3, it will be considered.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fairly interesting. I don't know if you guys remember the last time we casted Organ, we saw bands of Ying and I believe it was Blackbeard coming out from those teams. So it'll be interesting to see what type of bands will be coming from these teams, as well as what Plet said. You know, the last couple of teams that played on this map, they kind of stayed away from kitchen, tried to stay on basement level. We saw both teams in that matchup kind of not really going too far from sites. We didn't really see any roamers besides sitting on, Southside Staircase. Other than that, the roamers weren't really existent until later on in the game. It'll be interesting to see if any of these teams deploy one or two roamers kind of higher up when they're defending basements, or have perhaps one or two sitting in what do you call it? Big tower, waiting there. As we saw, I can't actually remember which player it was sitting in. Do you remember Plet inside that the big tower there? The
So there was a
Jaeger.
player sitting right behind. If I'm not mistaken, it was Hales. If that's what the person should be referring to. They actually played
Hmm.
really well in that spot. Of course, defending the whole attic side in a breach from tower side. Got himself, I'm pretty sure, straight off the battle, it was a 2K. Found himself the third after player rushed in, and did, of course, himself get downed. But he had a teammate further back who did support him. Eventually got the res. Then, of course, from that situation, it was a 1v5 situation. But like you said, of course, Romans will be the deciding factor. Yesterday's players were very calm, very relaxed, very defensive. Not really any roamers. I mean, even if you're a roamer, just to be in the back of the player's minds, being above, being below, just being somewhere near you, just being an extra threat you worry about instead of just all sitting on sides. I mean, it is a good strat. Rather defend, bomb, prevent access of all your players than just worry about the little things, about maybe controlling a room and no one ever comes past, being in a bad spot as a roamer yourself. But yeah, like you said, it's quite interesting, and exactly how these teams will do it, we'll have to find out for ourselves.
Yeah, looking very forward to this matchup. We just want to thank everyone that is tuning in once again to this Meraki Major. You guys have shown absolutely incredible support. Make sure you do hit that follow button. This is an incredible organization that's really trying to help grow the esports industry within South Africa and grow the Rainbow Six Siege community. So definitely show them some love.
I think on that note, everything is indeed sorted, and we can hop straight into the game. Of course, like we did say before, map 1 is Oregon, exactly how it'll play out. I'm super excited. Very interesting map, and of course, having different floors, having a basement as well for the roamers to play around with. And like I said, honestly, the kitchen area is what I'm definitely out looking for. We're going to go straight into the ban phase. Exactly, like we said, actually, a very weird pick yesterday for being banned was, of course, the Blackbeard. Quite an interesting choice, but we did see Blackbeard be played again on the next map, which actually came in very handy, especially on the console side of things.
Yeah, so first up, we see the Thatcher being banned there by V-Drop. Super interesting. I think we actually saw the exact same ban the last time we were on this map. I'm sure that's trying to stop people from getting into that walk-in area to open up the wall onto Games Room. Next up, we see a Jackal ban. So that kind of a Jackal ban from Pika, that could point towards them wanting to roam a little bit more, something that we haven't really seen on this map. So it should be fairly interesting.
I mean, going back to yesterday, the Thatcher, of course, being a very important operator, which was banned, of course, but then was countered, of course, with the Maverick, with the teamwork, with the dynamic duo, which will help out. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Sledge with the nades in hand. And of course, through that, they got rid of all the banner charges and, of course, the Cade. And as you can see, Kate being banned straight away, very important factor which helped the defending side to hold off the enemy from blue room, from basement, to hold them back with the Kate. And of course now him being taken away straight away, and the mirror as well, being an interesting choice, was very defensive and had very good crucial points to hold, especially on the choke points within kitchen. But of course, these are all very typical plays. Like I said, the Jackal being banned, so we should expect a lot of roaming plays coming out from the both teams, and exactly how it play out. We will just hop straight into it. So of course, we're going to straight to the players picking the players, and from the 6 pick itself should be extremely interesting. This is the part where people can obviously fake out the operators, choose someone new, someone interesting, maybe even throw the opposing team off their guard. Exactly. So, Kudu, from your understanding of how this map went out last time, exactly which people we saw were being played, do you think anybody would 6 pick, and if you do know, wow, who would they choose?
Well, so interesting enough, we see a Zofia 6 pick onto Nomad there, something I probably would not have guessed, although perhaps they expect V drop to be super aggressive. Perhaps, I mean, we obviously with the Jackal ban, they might not want to go out and go hunt those roamers. Instead, just set up those Nomads around the corners to protect themselves from any flanks coming around. I really enjoyed the Kaid ban coming out there. Obviously, without a Thatcher, it'd be very difficult to get rid of those Kaids on the hatches, which would make basements extremely easy to defend. With Kaid now being banned, they obviously can open up those hatches a lot easier using operators such as Habana. But we don't see them going basement the first time around. We see a dorms room hold. So a fairly interesting hold. You should see, or at least expect them to kind of hold games room. I'm sure we're going to see a big push trying to get control of master bedroom to get into that walk-in area, as well as control over trophy room. It'll be interesting to see if the defending team is able to kind of, or if they're going to try push back when the attackers are pushing armory. But I guess we'll just have to see how the attacking team is going to go about this.
Like I said, holding dorms is a very crucial point. It's very one of the first things players do choose to hold. Of course, not having to worry about anything above you, not worrying about players shooting down. I mean, the only problem is, of course, players open up right below you, open up these crucial spots, these pre-fire points. But from there, you can see we're obviously moving on to side the players. Of course, on attacking style, we're playing relatively slow compared to yesterday's games. We got some really nice angles by Kingsley himself, busy playing Jaeger. Anybody can push on from tower side will be taken down relatively quick. Shouldn't expect anyone to be there, especially the hatch being open. As you can see, Smoke as well playing very close, being magnetism within trophy room. And of course, we're having our roamers being the RQ coming in, playing from underneath. More RQ be taken out by Kingsley with a brilliant hatch play. Basically looking around, did he miss someone come in? Having some pre-fires coming through. Actually, would you recommend people pre-firing spots and hoping to hit somebody because you do get someone there? Or would you recommend just staying back, not giving them your position?
I think at this point, we've already seen one of, we saw Sweet fall from Pika's side. A great pick there by Powers. It seems like they're going for a very roam-heavy strat here, kind of just getting those entry spots. So when you know that that Pika's kind of pushing through those areas, I think those pre-fires onto certain walls can really be beneficial, even if it just takes, a little slither of health away. Kind of makes Pika a little bit more wary of where they are, wary of like pushing certain situations. And when they have to constantly worry about where they are and how they're pushing something, that kind of wastes down time. I mean, we've got 1 minute left now, and they're only just getting into attic area now, and there's still a player defending attic that they need to get rid of.
It's always do state, I mean, it's not always about buying time within the game. Going for kills, of course, will win you around, but you only have a certain amount of time. 2 shots being traded from the banner. We opened up some attic. Of course, having a player behind the deployable showed a very good position. And the Jaeger ADS is preventing any flashbangs coming through. I mean, even wasting them. If the Ash was, the Ash would have been able to break the deployable shield, use their flashbangs in order to counter the ADS. But Magnus is being knocked down by the Nomad, being played by Kiko, trying to finish off the players in order to bring back to a 4v4 situation. Duke getting shot himself, has steps in a Legion, but Nuno taking out Kingsley, Sharko taking down Powers, leaving it to a 4v2 situation, and Diffuser is going down. Shots are still being traded, and Nuno wins the round, but taking down Kelly. Really well played by the attacking team, which of course is Team Pika.
Absolutely great play there by Pika. With 1 minute left, we were saying how they didn't have much map control. They definitely turned that around within, 10 to 15 seconds. We saw absolutely immediately the Nomad pushing onto through trophy room onto Dorm's room, taking out the smoke lying down in the corner there. And while that was all happening, they kind of just walked up white stairs, took control of Dorm. We saw the Thermite immediately go for the plant. Absolutely perfect execution by Pika there, really showing their power in attacking and their strats just working out for them.
Pika, of course, playing really slow that round, used up a good portion of the time, only been left with a minute left before rushing on to start. I think it's more important actually gathering the full information instead of just going into the start blind, hoping at the end the common spots, not being caught off guard. But of course, playing really slow, have the drones on start, giving them information, playing off one another, slowly get the trades, eventually even taking out the utilities from the defending side. Once again, we're going back to dorms. We should see a very different setup. Will be very common compared to the last one, very similar. But on the same note, they'll change it up a bit. Of course, do what they did right and fix what they did wrong.
Yeah, I think V Drop obviously has some confidence in themselves to defend the site because they just lost the site, and Pika kind of took control of that site extremely quickly once they decided to push. So very interesting to see that V Drop really believe in their strats, believe that they might have made one or two slight mistakes that caused them that round. Be interesting to see any changes they make. It doesn't look like any of them are roaming as far as they were beforehand. They're kind of sticking a little bit further back on site. Perhaps that was one of their weaknesses that they have identified. The fact that not all of their players were able to work off of each other and get those refrags. Something that is obviously very important in a game like Rainbow Six Siege. But we see Joystick immediately pushing straight for Master Bedroom. So a very different kind of push to what we saw last time, where they try to take over Big Tower.
Of course, Big Tower being a very crucial point going straight towards Storms through Attic. I think it's definitely one of the most important fact with Odin taking out Sweet Cow once again, one of being one of the first guys taken down. Power's not too far behind, taking out Shaiko, even already in a 5v3 situation in favor of the defenders. Once again, shots being traded through. Once again, Kingsley playing right above the hatch. Once again, you would think they would check the spot in case they'll do it again, but unfortunately mistakes were made, but they do know the spot now, they can use it to the advantage in the future round. But this deployable shield by the operator within Attic is such a really, really good spot. Of course, having the Jaeger ADS is not too far behind to provide the cover, but of course, once again, being Ash and Nomad being taken down, very crucial operators, especially once it comes down to that deployable shield. Kiko being playing around, proning down, looking through that drone hole, taking down Powers. Really, really good game sense, using the drone holes to his full advantage.
Great play there by Powers to get both Shaiko and Sweet. I don't think that Shaiko actually thought someone was going to just drop hatch randomly at some point, but Powers just pushing very aggressive straight on to the Pika lineup, kind of catching them by surprise. As I say that, Kingsley takes out Nuno, trying to push Attic from a big tower. I think we saw absolute last round. He had the exact same advantage in that Attic area. Joystick taking out Magnet. I guess I'm not really sure who just fell there. But once again, okay, so we're seeing right now Pika just kind of falling apart. Time's kind of ticking down. They tried to push that final push, but V-Drop learning from their last round, and Kingsley finishing it off by taking out Joystick. So we saw once again, V-Drop really kind of just playing time, getting it down to the last the last minute before Pika's push. Pika pushing very similar to what they did on the first round. V-Drop learning where they messed up in that push. I think it did help that we saw a 3v4 pretty much because of Powers kind of dropping hatch and confusing the Pika lineup there.
As you did state, being able to be in such a high level of gameplay, fixing the slight mistakes that they, of course, did identify, helped them, of course, win back around, used pretty much the same strats, used exactly the same idea, maybe played a little bit more aggressive. Of course, they did not have roamers that time around, but played from above hatch, dropping down from attic into the open area, and then from there making their way around, taking off any of the attackers that were not expecting an aggressive push by the defenders. This time around, we're going straight down to basement. which of course which we do see quite often, is either right at the top or right at the bottom. Try to avoid kitchen as much as possible. Worst comes to worst, try to throw it off the opposing team. But from here, I think really important deciding factor, of course, now, like you said previously, the hatches will be available to be open unless they have the banner charge right on top. Of course, having a banner and a thermite to break them down. Coming from blue, of course, the banner there, but we do still have opportunities for the attacking team to come past and break open the bandits, allow the thermite to come in, open straight onto sides, and then from there make a play, get the push, get the entry frags.
You know, something that we saw the last time on this map, which probably would have made Pika's job a little bit easier, is, you know, bringing a Maverick with those nades, trying to get rid of any bandit charges that are on, you know, blue bunker area, pushing into supply room as well as electric. It'll be interesting to see what Pika do to try get rid of those bandit charges. But like you said before, with a Hibana in their lineup, they're able to open up every single I guess hatch moving up. Seems like the Zofia doesn't really know that there's a player right behind that door, pre-firing that door, taking a lot of Power's health. You're going to see a nice little gunfight between Powers and Kiko right now.
Like I said, ready from the Sophia, running down the stairs, ready damaging the Powers, dropping down just below 50 HP, really giving them the health advantage such an early on, joining them out. Of course, Sophia still playing that spot, trying to catch any aggressive push, holding down the players. Hopefully the communication doesn't go past, trying to catch a player off guard, maybe not so aware of the angle. But Powers literally on the bare of living of 1 HP, gets taken by Sharko not too far behind the Nomad, playing that spot. Plays super aggressive and of course works in their favor. Of course, Kiko being Sophia, which has been heavily traded back on 24 HP himself. And then from there, Magnetism playing at smoke, taking in some heavy casualties, pushing straight through the smoke, playing super aggressive, pulling back to a safe point. From here, hopefully I can catch him off guard, thinking that rotate around. If anything, got stuck in a very difficult spot. The utilities from the attacking side coming in, making use of all their flashbangs. And of course, from there, hoping to get someone blind or put them in a bad spot. You know, not too far behind, take out Magnetism, leaving in a 5v3 situation.
Sitting with a 5v3, Plants going down by Joystick. The defending team V-Drop playing super aggressive this round, kind of holding the backside. As we say that, we are now left in a 5v2 situation. 5v1 as Shaiko takes down Odin. Kingsley left alone on the rotate. I'm not sure if he realizes that there is a Nomad on the top of the staircase, but he pushes towards the hatch, which I believe the defenders opened every single hatch before the round had even started. Pushes down staircase, doesn't expect the Ash to be there, but gets shots off, taking out Sweet, pushes around the corner with a 4v1. He gets taken out. Kingsley, Nuno gets the final shots off. You know, great round there by Pika once again, slowly picking off the very aggressive defense of V-Drop.
Once again, V-Drop, of course, not really holding out the first time around. Really well played. Of course, some mistakes were made. At least they they can, of course, relearn what they did wrong. Of course, learn what the enemies did. And from there, we honestly work around it. Try to catch them off guard. Like Kingsley playing from behind, went down from Freezer's side, going down those stairs. He could have even played right above Hatch, which he did. Caught a player off guard. Maybe if he played a little bit more aggressive, a little bit sooner, he could have maybe got the, of course, the player busy defusing the bomb, preventing the diffusion, and from there working off one another.
So we're seeing a very, once again, a typical lineup from both of these teams. It doesn't seem, or it seems like these players have their specific mains, and they're not really deviating from that much at all. So we'll see a very similar push now coming out from Pika, I'm sure, because we see V-Drop once again going basement. They really believe that they can defend the site, especially over kitchen, which is a very difficult site for the defending team. But it'll be interesting to see if they decide to reinforce the hatches this time, because last round they ended up opening a lot of those hatches, or just leaving the hatches soft for the attacking team just to really open up extremely easily. We saw the Zofia run around and open 2 of those hatches, you know, very quickly. I think within 30 seconds of the round. But I think in the last round, Pika realized that, back there on Tower Staircase by rear stage, they had the Jaeger just kind of holding that with Kingsley. They really tried to kind of get him out of his spot on Tower Staircase, couldn't get him out, realized that if they all just rotated back down laundry storage, through freezer, into basement corridor, they were able to get the plant off easily without even having to interact with the players sitting on by boiler room and rear stage area. So that plant going down fairly easily by Pika. It'll be interesting to see if V-Drop kind of changed the way they defended that site, put less players on the backside by a boiler room. But saying that, Pika might even just realize, kind of go around the site, figure out where V-Drop have put less players. But we see Kingsley and Sweet kind of just peeking around the corner here. They both know that they are there. Shots coming off by the Ash, headshot straight. The Vigil really trying to get that shot go off. And before we even know it, it's a 2v5, 4v2. With Magnuson trying to rotate back to site, doesn't realize that Shaiko's just around that corner, gets taken out by Shaiko trying to get back onto site. We're left with one man standing who gets taken out once again by Kiko, getting the final shots off onto Kali. A beautiful round there by Pika, picking off all of the roamers very quickly, holding angles, making sure people can't get back onto site, taking out the Jaeger, finally cleaning up sites and ending the round.
Going back to the previous round, Kingsley, of course, been rotating around as Vigil. Very important factor, of course, once he is using his ability, the drones can see the static around it, knowing that he is maybe not exactly in the same room, because I can't actually see him, but know he is very close. Ash playing very slow, of course, getting onto the top room, into dorms, holding that angle. If the Vigil is there, of course, going to be busy rotating around, trying to catch the player off guard. And actually, this, of course, Ash holding the tight angle at the headshot level did catch a Vigil off guard. Vigil never knew exactly where they were, but of course, the other team playing around blue. Of course, from that point of view, I mean, 1v1 in a whole different field. Of course, that both teams know it's busy happening, going down. What a team, the organized team from the attacking side, pushing as a single unit from there. Once, of course, Ash, which was Seeker, coming down all the way, rotating maybe even behind the defenders, pushing together as a single unit. But like you said, players really dropped down fast. That blue push from Addict really won the round. Of course, I think synergy between these teams already at a whole new level. Communication is key. But once we're going back to dorms, it did work in the defending side previously. Can they pull it back? Can they do something very similar? Rotation holes on the same side to be made? Or can we expect the same type of hatch plays by Kingsley himself?
We do see a change in lineup by V-Drop, deciding to bring the Echo, which I think is a very good move by them. We've seen the Diffuser go down 3 out of the 4 rounds now. So I think, from their side, they're obviously saying, you know what? If Pika are going to keep going for the for the plant, then we just need to deny that plant. They've been very good at getting it down and wasting the time of Pikas. So if they're able to waste just a little bit more time using their roamers, very easily, we see Sweet easily getting into Armory now. Those pre-shots coming off. You asked earlier if those pre-shots are a good or bad idea. I think in that case, it almost took out Sweet's head. That would have been a great and lucky shot there by Powers. But we'll see as the time ticks down if that Echo is going to be able to be utilized by V-Drop to kind of take these defending rounds back away from Pika.
Well, that's it, of course, once again, Kingsley playing on the same spot, not too far behind. From Attic, catches some players rotating towards tower stairs. Knowing that there are their banners going off. Kiko not too far behind, open up windows. It's literally up to him to hold down the side while the other team from the attacking side, of course, show push towards balcony, get into the master bedroom. From there, go into walkroom. Go open that hatch that was, of course, reinforced walls. Get behind default plants and get it down. Because like I said, being the Echo that's been chosen this time around should be the deciding factor exactly how we played. Of course, Echo should be one of the previous guys that should stay further back, but a very wild peak by Joystick, taking down Powers. Already the Echo's been in play in a 5v4 situation. Sophia not too far behind, did open up a beautiful hole from underneath, working off his teammates, trying to mark it down. That should be player of the century, but we do have a defending side busy drawing down, which was Homar. Does take a bit of damage from the Sophia charge itself.
Yeah, great gameplay here by Pika, slowly picking apart V-Drop's defensive system. We see Kingsley fall, and Kelly doesn't realize that Attic has been getting taken out himself. Odin falls to Joystick. We're left in a 5v1 situation with 50 seconds left on the clock. Going to be an absolute mission to try to defend that. And as I say that, Nunu finishes up by taking out Magnetism. Another flawless round by Pika.
Really well played. I mean, flawless round. Shots were being traded, but really good communication. We saw the pings come into play. The Sophia open up 2 of the charges down below, even having no charges there to stand. Of course, Kingsley was playing Attic and having a teammate push up, back one another up, get the trade if needed. But as you see, with the communication teamwork, it really did pay off. Defending side, unfortunately, could not pull it back that time around. Played it very similar to the first time. Of course, the enemy team this time around, learning from their mistakes, adapting to the same strats being used for the third time now, maybe just change ever so slightly. But we do have a Walmart 6 pick going towards Clash on, of course, the defending side, attacking side. We have an armor going towards Iana once again. So kind of faking them out. Very well, good choice of an operator. Can actually get that information, of course. At this level, players they should be able to actually detect if it's a real or fake. Can't actually do damage itself, but being able to play as another operator to actually get the communication down, get that slight information to give their team an advantage.
The communication skills by Pika that we've seen thus far have been absolutely incredible. You know, an example of that is we saw Powers trying to hold Trophy Room with Thermite in Master Bedroom, and I believe it was the Ash in Armory Corridor. We saw the flashes coming out from the Ash into Trophy as Thermite quickly peeked Trophy Room, pre-firing that exact same spot that they had communicated that Powers was sitting and taking him out. So a great utilization of just understanding where these players' movements are, communicating it to your teammates, and communicating with your teammates to get that utility off so that it benefits your teammates to be able to push into those areas that you want to control. So bringing that Iana is I think a good idea for Pika's side, using that information and their communicative skills to be able to get that information to their teammates and get those kills.
Kelly actually being very interesting, busy. Actually the Jaeger being played, busy rotating underneath. So trying to catch anybody off. Drones are coming in. Clash is busy playing Attic. And of course, we do have Kingsley once again playing behind the Clash. Very important factor. I mean, clashes can slow down people, not only prevent access to certain rooms, but of course provide cover not only to yourself but teammates right behind her. And there you go, Caddy, busy rotating down below, get busy roaming, takes on Chaco, but get traded by Kiko. Of course, this is where the players play 2v1. If anything, get taken down, get the trade. These bring the game back to 4v4. I'm sure the defenders are pretty happy to at least have one of the players down from here to gain the confidence to play the way that they are playing. Hopefully, with a pre-fire from Sweetcup towards Tower, trying to get down the player. Banner has opened over towards Addict once again with the same 3 holes. One further right, 2 together just to hop in, make it smoothly. Drones are being missed through the console side. We have mentioned this before. I'm sure it's pretty difficult to shoot drones, especially with a controller. But Sophia being played by Kiko once again being a very important factor last round. Using her stunts to honestly remove Clash from a protective shield for a couple of seconds for her teammates not too far behind to hopefully get the trade down. But do they know there's a player watching further behind? And no, they don't. Kingsley takes down Odin, who was his only form of defense as Clash. Was going to mention that honestly Clash is a very important factor, but team kills are a thing. Unfortunately, moving back to back from one another and more trades coming in.
Kingsley making that slight mistake, taking out the Clash, but making sure he makes himself back up, protecting Attic, finishes up. We do see the Zofia back rotating back up through Attic, going to try push Kingsley again, stuns Kingsley and gets that final kill. So, right now, V-Drop have now lost Attic once again. Attic got full control, got control of Bedroom and of Trophy Room. They're pushing in, takes out Powers, falls. Now they pretty much have full control of bomb sites, and they get that final kill onto Magnetism. It's absolutely incredible to see Pika playing, and they have been pinching the defensive side from 2 different areas every time. V-Drop have to then split their defense over those 2 areas. They aren't able to refrag, or refrag, get those kills back. Pika are able to push in, get side control, and either go for that plant or finish it up with those kills.
As you said before, of course, PK playing, first of all, taking from tower, taking full control over attic, pushing from balcony, taking full control over master bedroom, then open up walk-in towards game room. Yeah, those are two crucial points, especially being from the defending side of view. We didn't have a defender being sandwiched between those two sides, but not only that, from trophy room as well. From them, honestly, from all those players having different amount of sides, from there trading one another. If anything, you can't flick so insanely if there's three guys picking you from three different angles. Yes, it is possible, but it honestly comes down to chance and of course skill. But really well played by Pico, of course pushing through there, winning that round. But of course, honestly, I would like to just point out Kelly as well with that first initial roam, taking on a player, maybe even trying to get that information exactly who is around. Obviously, on the defending side in a rough step, they're going straight down to basement once again. Can we expect the same type of aggressive push by Kingsley, who is right across the side, of course now being on attacking side, but from the defending side of view from the previous rounds, a very important factor which was Kiko, currently on 8 kills, ready being the MVP of his team, being a very support player, but of course holding his own.
So we see there's a few drones over on the blue side, and they're bringing a Maverick. So I think we're going to see a blue push. Looks like their entire team is actually running down blue fairly quickly. We might actually see a rush coming out by Pika here. But as I say that, they're actually slowing down, droning a bit. Shaiko's already... I guess Shaiko's busy roaming just below Big Tower. The rest of the Pika team is stacked up just outside of blue. Looks like they're going to go and try open up blue bunker onto supply room area, especially with that Maverick. They're going to be able to get rid of the... I guess there is no bandit to get rid of. So never mind on that. I'm not sure if he realizes that there's a player playing just around the corner there. We have Kingsley rotating on top of Big Tower now, and we have Magnetism, or Powers on lower end.
I mean, Joystick once again busy playing dorms. Both Sophia with her shotgun, very interesting choice. We did have a standoff previous round. Once it was basement, I think if I'm not mistaken it was 2 rounds ago. As you can see coming through, be able to shoot through soft walls. Very defensive positions, very interesting spots by the defenders. Not really holding down side, but holding these different choke points, pushing together. If anything, denying access to the bottom floor. As you can see, Magnuson busy throwing his nades in, cooking them very beautifully. Just can't find a place to connect to. Odin looks above hatch, does take down Joystick. Of course, being heavily traded by himself in terms of HP. Both players of both sides, of course, very low. But really well played. I mean, pushing through blue once again as a single unit. Busy, if I can say, becoming a single unit towards the end. Will definitely prove in the favor. Maverick right above. Open up the hatch, of course, will prove very difficult for the defenders down below to defend, preventing a lot of rooms for them to be able to move around and hopefully make a play off of.
Yes, we're seeing a very aggressive defense here by Pika. But once they got those shots off, we saw Sweet kind of rotate back down towards sides. The last 3 players of Pika kind of holding tight on sides. We see the impacts coming out from Kiko, pushing upstairs super aggressively, chasing after the V-Drop players. V-Drop really taking this nice and slowly. With 40 seconds left on the clock, they have complete control of top floor. The hatches are open. We see them drop hatch. We see the rotate coming out. Plants going down. And you can just see the plant. The impacts come out. Downs the player. Finishing up by Sweet. Gets taken out by the Maverick, who's now peeking down side. Drops down the hatch. He knows he's in that corner, but the shots coming out, kind of missing those shots at first. Downs Shaiko. Left up is just Sweet alone, 1v1. The Maverick trying to go for plants. Doesn't realize that Sweet's right around the corner. Sweet finishes it off by taking out both Magnets and Powers.
Really well played by Kiko, playing super aggressive up the stairs towards our side. Going back right behind him, he just could not find contact visually to see the both players jump down the hatch, providing that crucial information. Of course, trades did happen, still won the round, but honestly, preventing that first initial defuse by the attacking side. But of course, being flanked around by the Maverick, we had no idea was still above. But really well played by the impact grenades. Yes, not really the most common thing to use them against players and reduce that HP, or to make rotation holes and even provide little cheeky opportunities through little bullet holes, etc. But the 6 coming from Joystick from Legion to smoke very good operator to hold back the players. If anything, play very defensive with his shotgun, and of course gets a deployable shield, which is very volatile exactly how it can be used amongst the team.
Going into match point here for Pika, we have really this last round was one of the only rounds that we saw VDROP kind of getting control of what they needed to get that plant down. I think that initial push for the plants might have been a little too early. They had just dropped hatch, hadn't really got control of site before they went for that plant. I think they were kind of hoping that Pika were roaming off of site. They didn't realize that the players such as Sweet had rotated back down towards freezer basement corridor area and had to peek onto supply room into that usual spot that you go for that plant. So we're going to see a upstairs defense coming out from Pika here. Very similar lineup to what we saw VDROP bring. It'll be interesting to see if they kind of go for a very defensive heavy side on Attic like we saw VDROP do. The whole VDROP team kind of pushing, it seems like Big Tower immediately. So they're going to go for that full Attic control.
As stated, of course, it is match point. Pretty much do or die for the opposing team now. Can we see a reverse sweep at this stage to win them the game? A lot of the players going towards Tower's side, pushing in together. Very crucial point to hold. As stated before, of course, both having a Nomad edge prevents any roamers, which actually proved very dangerous for the attacking side last time around. Of course, eventually they did get the trades and they did win the round, but if they can prevent anybody being lost straight away, we do see Kiko further behind, currently in kitchen, making his way towards tower. Can Nomad identify this and of course help out the team by placing out a Nomad jabs? Maverick busy making up holes for the sledge or anyone else with grenades. Sorry for that, Maverick in himself, very capable operator by himself. Of course, he got caught by the Wamar. Very well placed there, prevent the bandit shots going down. Can they actually bait it out? At least one Wamar is down. Sledge used both of these grenades. Maverick uses currently his last one. Can he get the charges? He does indeed find one, which is more than enough for the Thermite. Currently placing it down towards Attic. The smoke does go down, leaving it to be a 3v5 situation in favor of the attackers.
So Pika kind of put in a tough spot here with a 3v5. The Nomad getting the rotates by the Jaeger. Kiko having to rotate back there as his teammate Shaiko falls to Kingsley, and Kiko gets the final shots onto Magnusum, leaving them with a 2v4. Very difficult situation here. We got the Jaeger rotating back up wide, trying to get back onto site. Full control of VDROP into Attic. As that happens, we see the shots of Nuna coming off Kylie, leaving with a 2v3.
As you can see, Kiko not too far behind, playing on Dorms, takes down Kingsley, bringing it back to a 2v2 situation, which is very winnable in favor of 50-50. Unfortunately, Power's in a very bad spot. Actually, currently Sandwich, and of course the team at Nuna not too far behind, spots a play. Can he get the kill? Yes, he does. Takes out Odin, gets the fuser down. The pre-fire is coming in by Kiko and does work in his favor. Of course, using the crouch spam in his favor, and of course, trying to make sure that headshot does not negatively affect him, trying to prevent his hitbox from being, of course, hit, and works in their favor. And they take the first map on Oregon, winning 7-1.
Absolutely great game there by Pika, really showing that dominant force. That last round, I think it was a 2v4 at one point, or a 3v5, and, Pika didn't really struggle at all. They really just stayed calm, rotated back onto site, got control of the areas that they needed to watch the push through Attic, to watch the push through, I believe it was a supply closet there. So great gameplay by Pika overall. It was extremely impressive to see their communication skills, them able to call out certain areas that were safe for their roamers to be able to rotate back onto sites. The roamers not being being aggressive enough that they put VDROP in an awkward situation, but not too aggressive that they were losing their lives unnecessarily. Absolutely great game overall. What were your really opinions on that, Allplat?
Honestly, both sides really did play very well. Honestly, I think throughout the whole thing, it was a very close game, despite the 2 rounds being flawless for one side. But of course, it really did come down to the 2v2s, to the 2v1s, to the 4v2s, which of course could have gone both ways. course, Team PYK, of course, with the strats, using the game mechanics to the fullest, using the ping system, helping the teammates from down below to shoot the Sophia charges from busy sandwich players from, of course, like you stated, from Attic, from the, of course, the actual game master bedroom towards walk-in, going towards game room, keeping the players isolated from one another so the defenders can't play off one another, preventing those diffusers. I mean, it's really, really amazing to watch. And of course, going to our second map, which is Villa, exactly how would these same strats be applied? Of course, Villa, of course, being Team PYK's map. First map was, of course, by Team VDRXP. Quite interesting to see how both of these will play out, exactly what Team PYK has in store for us, playing really, really well in Oregon. And of course, if this does end up being a 1-1, we'll go to map 3, which is Consulate.
Yeah, so if VDROP are able to steal Pika's map away from them, we'll definitely have to go finish it up on Consulate, which is also a great map when it comes to just a lot of team strategies. But we've casted Villa before, and as we've seen, the good communication on this map, the ability to work very well and pinch out those defenders is extremely important, especially when going onto trophy side, where you have those balconies that look over to either side. We've got it seems like obviously the upstairs is the most defensive side for this map. What really are you expecting, operator wise? Do you think we're going to see similar operators to our last game? What are you kind of expecting for bans? Do you think we're going to see a mirror being played, or do you think we're going to see a ban coming out for her as well?
And of course, from Oregon, from the previous round, everyone has the main set of characters with the strats, of course, being carried across different maps. I've seen on Villa especially, I mean, of course, 3 floors to work with right at the bottom, of course, the main floor and the floor above. Quite an interesting choice. Of course, Rome must be once again very crucial on this map. It's such a large building, so many rooms to work off of once again. And of course, droning will be very important. I think, if anything, a ban will probably come once again within the Jackal, providing the roamers, if there are any opportunity to go through across the whole map, will do their thing, try to get behind the bad guys. Maybe even Cade is not so important. Yes, of course, once they're upstairs towards the bar side, preventing access towards that studies could be a very deciding factor, but I think even possibly a mute can play the same role. It honestly just comes down to playing the same different things. Of course, maybe even Smoke. Smoke is a very, very powerful operator. Of course, he has gas canisters, he has a deployable shield, and he has that shotgun for close range, which a lot of the previous games have come down to. Is these really, really close one-on-one, couple of meters distance between the players.
Yeah, I think kind of looking at some of the operators that were chosen on the last map, I'm sure you spoke about the importance of drone work being used and utilized on Villa. So I'm sure we could see an Iona being brought out. We saw a lot of gameplay from Wamai in the last game. I'm sure we could see a Wamai coming out, especially trying to defend classical hallway, top of main staircase just before games room, or even perhaps trying to defend 90, especially if they're going for that games room, aviator room hold. I think, or at least I'm sure, we're going to see Bandit being played to kind of, cover aviator room wall. If a mirror isn't banned, I'm almost 100% sure we'll see a mirror being played. But I would be very surprised if we don't see a mirror ban.
I think, like you said, mirror is definitely a very important factor towards any side, pretty much, especially on this map. So many soft walls that they can shoot through and open up and make to the advantage. But I think the best way to find out is jump straight to the map and see what map 2 has in store for us. Let's see what both Team PYK and, of course, VDROP have for us. I think let's just head straight to it. Keep you guys here wishing to see what happens. Keep you guys craving for this exciting gameplay. And here we go, hopping straight into it, seeing what the ban phase has.
Yeah, once again, we do appreciate everyone dropping in to support these two teams, VDROP and Pika, showing us how good they are at clicking on heads. Absolutely incredible gameplay coming out from both teams. Great teamwork. It's great to see the Siege community in South Africa growing so quickly and getting these, classically good players out here.
Starting off, like we did state before, of course, for the roaming side of things, Jackal is being banned. Of course, this has become a very important factor. We got so many rooms to work with, so many floors, and of course, we see in chat now, Villa, it will be a textbook go-to. Thatcher as well being banned, very important operator. We did see the same bans from the previous round. Can we see the same start from the defending teams? Honestly, only time will tell, and I can't wait. I mean, very interesting choice by the Thatcher. Yes, he is crucial, but we have seen the Maverick come into play with his own nades. Of course, breaking first of all the Wamar tower side of things by Attic, and then just finishing off what he had against the Bandit Chargers. Yeah, you did say the Mera being banned straight away, of course, preventing a lot of, if I say, really defensive chokes from the defending side, allowing the attackers to play a little bit more aggressive without being punished by any means.
You know, the mirror being banned is super typical. Her just being allowed to play in a game changes the complete meta of the entire game. We see a visual ban coming out as we saw PYK actually using a lot of visual in the last game. So that could be, you know, a direct, I guess, like response to their style of play. We see obviously the Jackal band coming out, super typical, you know, allowing them to roam more. The Thatcher band coming out, you know, giving it more of a defensive side, especially when it comes to trying to place those Jaegers when it comes to the top floor defense. But it seems like we're going straight into kitchen dining room for our first site. See a Goyo being played. Super excited to see the Goyo play. But as I say that, they 6-pick off Goyo onto Valkyrie. We see a Nomad being brought out here by VDRXP. You know, typical lineup here by VDRXP, very similar to their last lineup. I think this is the first time we're seeing Valkyrie being played. This is the first time we're seeing Ella being played. So excited to see what we have in store for this first round.
As soon as you said the girl, I got pretty excited myself, thinking it's a very, very useful operator. We don't actually see him that much on the console side of things, but he can, if played correctly, pretty much do everything that the defending team needs him to do. Of course, dealing damage, preventing access to different rooms, even holding back the attackers in case they do aggressive pushes, which they have done previously. Like I said, going back to the Nomad, I think is indeed pretty smart. Of course, we've been used really well on the Oregon side of the map, preventing the Roma coming from behind, down tower stairs, right behind them. If anything, getting a few frags, maybe ending up sort of course, the attacking side. But it was such a big room, such a big building. For Nomad, Jab's place must be actually really well thought out of. Of course, there is no guarantee. Could come right upstairs, shoot down onto site, and then from there, make the play happen.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see. It looks like we're going to see a lot of roaming being done by the PYK squad here. It looks like they're leaving 2 of their players on site with 3 roamers, one being a close roamer. It's a fairly interesting setup here. We see Shaiko roaming all the way down by Piano. So hopefully he's going to try catch off anyone trying to push into the study area there.
Pushing towards study is actually very important. As you said, we do of course have Shaco playing with Jaeger once again in Piano, playing for any aggressive push, anybody jumping in, playing for the sound cues. For me, both teams are playing really slow, but of course the attacking side once again pushing together, making use of what they already know, working as a team. Honestly, can't go wrong. Getting the trades worst come to worst, Maverick already in, joining out for his team, getting that crucial information, taking out all the cameras that they need to ensure they stay undetected, make their movements, of course, very vague, try to direct your enemy to either playing aggressive, which we have seen before. We do so not too far away being placed. And yeah, once again, speaking about the Nomad, placing a Nomad jabs on the stairs. If anybody does come up the stairs, taking full ground of above, preventing them to just rush onto side will be very important. Deciding factor, in my personal opinion, onto side.
We're seeing a heavy roam coming out here by PYK on the south side of the map underneath study area in Art Studio, just right by main entrance. But we see VDRXP kind of pushing the opposite side of the map, the northern side, onto Master Bedroom, getting control over Master Bedroom before they start making their push down onto site. It looks like the rotates coming out here by PYK, moving back onto site. I believe 4 out of the 5 players are now back onto site. You know, VDRXP kind of looking for that vertical play and opening up those holes, trying to push PYK out of those usual spots that they, you know, like to kind of hold around doorways, around rotates. You know, VDRXP really just trying to seclude each one of the defending operators before they push down. Shaiko rotating all the way back up, slowly pushing onto the north side of the map. We see him at the top of red here. I know that the attacking team has absolutely no idea that he's here. He sees the Claymore, but doesn't go for the shot. Goes for the shot on the Claymore. The Maverick doesn't even hear the shot. Gets taken down at the bottom of the staircase. As I say that, Kingsley takes out Joystick. The final push kind of going straight onto the site here. Shaiko rotating back down onto site as Kiko falls to Kingsley. V-Drop really taking dominant control here. Plant going down with Sweets as the last remaining standing. Kingsley takes down Sweets while the diffuser going down. Great push there by V-Drop. I really thought that the Jaeger rotating from the south side of the map over to north was going to catch them out a little bit more, but he only got that Maverick off before falling himself. So, good rotate, but wasn't able to utilize it 100%. I don't think he expected V-Drop to push site so quickly and kind of ignore his presence on the south side of the map.
The Jaeger's point of view, of course, having all the different, anti-roamer possibilities, being the Nomad and the Claymores coming down the stairs, of course, shooting down the Claymore, trying to play against it, trying to go around it was very risky. Of course, did the right thing shooting it, and of course, took down the Maverick. We just, unfortunately, came down to siege time in holding down the stairs as long as he could. As soon as he tried to move around, was taken down. But throughout the whole thing, both sides were playing it really slow, very, if I can say, defensive themselves. Even the attackers only had 40 seconds left before they made it towards site. Very, very dangerous waters, especially thinking how quickly time goes down, exactly how you can tunnel vision and forget about such a crucial thing. But really, really well played from the attacking side. Really did prove into the favor. But from the Sophia side, playing by Nuno, playing ready on the stairs with the shotgun in hand, could be extremely dangerous because with such close range, you can't beat a shotgun unless your aim is just superior and you've got faster reaction time.
So PYK losing their first defensive round, but saying, you know what? There's no way we're going to lose Kitchen again. We're going to go Kitchen once again. They probably believe that they made one or two small mistakes. We're seeing Shaiko going to a very similar area for him to rotate once again. It looks like he's going to go south side again. It'll be interesting to see if V-Drop allow him to just sit on this side of the map once again and rotate back towards behind them. We do see Nuno, rotating in a very similar manner. It looks like he's going to try and hold 90. So we got two players on the south side of the map, but it looks like once again, V-Drop just immediately pushing straight for Master Bedroom, trying to clear that out, get that vertical gameplay, move the defenders down below, and push straight onto site, just ignoring the roamers completely.
As you said before, of course, the defending side did realize one fault in their plan was the top level control. Open up very much of the whole top ground, try to find these lower angles where they could possibly shoot from, take down any defenders having their plans that are being ruined by this thing. Of course, not too far behind, not realizing there's so many players right behind. Because there is, of course, the Sophia, the Maverick, and Kingsley playing Nomad went all the way around into Astronomy, placing down a Nomad jab on the stairs to prevent Shaiko from doing what he did before. D4 camera has not been shot, is taken down now in Astronomy. Shots are being traded across the hallway by Kingsley. Shaiko and, of course, Powers gets into a conflict, and Powers comes victorious with his teammate not too far behind, being Maverick, who's being played by Odin in a 5v4 situation, being shot himself. At this point, what can we see it happen? Can we see a comeback? Can we see things happen? Still very early in the time to decide. Both sides are still playing very slow, very defensive. And can we see them push a little bit faster this time, or they're sticking to the same strat, push the very last couple of seconds, make use of the final moment of time?
I think, we saw Nuno rotate back over, just jumping over the ledge there, rotating back onto sides, getting final shots onto him. Shaiko thought that maybe the attacking side would be caught off guard, push them hard, but great shots coming out by Powers there. Magnetism falls, standing outside. So that's a nice kill onto the Thermite there. I believe that was Diffuser, but Diffuser has now been picked up once again by Kingsley. Powers with great shots onto Joystick. We see that Ella rotating back onto site, but Kiko knows that he's there, takes him out. We've got a 3v2 now, advantage going towards V-Drop. And once again, the rotate from Kiko coming out, sees the Maverick again. The Maverick being almost taken out again by the rotate. Gets the final shots. The Maverick falls to the rotate of Kingsley, and so it looks like V-Drop have full control over site now. Kingsley going for the plant, but can't be seen by Kiko. Kiko's still roaming upstairs. Not sure how he's going to decide to rotate back down. Looks like he just decides to immediately drop hatch. He knows that the other two players are immediately on the other side. The C4 coming out, not getting any shots off. Kingsley finishes up by taking out Kiko, who had to push through that doorway, had no other choice. So once again, we're seeing V-Drop come back at PYK. PYK being very dominant on the first map. VDROP really just utilizing their strats to pick through PYK's strategies and their defensive style. We're seeing heavy roaming coming out from PYK, and VDROP just don't care. They're not going for the roamers. They go straight for sites. They get control of sites. They're forcing the roamers to push back onto sites. They're watching those angles for those rotates, picking them off. We saw, I think 2 out of the 3 players from PYK got killed trying to rotate back onto site.
For the 6th pick, we do see, of course, Sweetcar going from Capcan towards Ella, which I actually thought the Capcan could be proved very, very useful, especially in a situation where they just get onto side, just run through each doorway, not really worrying about what's at their feet. Maybe possibility just to take them down to like around 50 HP, if not less, or even try to get a quick early on kill. Going back to the top floor now, we haven't seen this up being defended. Of course, we like to see the attacking side go into the side, get top floor control, ignore the roamers, and then from there go straight towards side like you did state, and of course punish them for having players too far away from objective. Can we see this something similar? Will the attacking side try the same strat, just go through the windows, try to go to bedroom, from there make their way towards side, or will they try to play from down below with the operators at hand? Of course, Sophia with the Ash can open up from down below. And unfortunately, Thermite was taken down quite early last game, still outside. I'm not too sure exactly what happened, was down, was pushed, while Jaeger was taken down. But this time, of course, we were much more useful if they came to Astronomy, open up the Astronomy wall, straight onto site. And of course, once again, we have Ella roaming around, try to see what can happen, try to catch any of the attackers off guard, try to get behind them.
So it looks like PYK, although they have been punished for their far roaming, they're still going for the roam. We see Kiko all the way down in basements, gameplay that you don't really see a lot. You don't really see a lot of gunfights happening down in basement. Perhaps he's going to be able to catch someone off if he doesn't get droned out. But I don't think he has been spotted by VDROP there. I think Ash was going to push down through Art, but decides not to, rotates back up. Magnetism and Odin pushing bedroom. We see Powers pushing the south side of the map with, I think Nuno is down below on the south side of the map. We should see a rotate up main staircase. We see the Claymore going down at the top of that staircase. So it'll be interesting to see if Nuno, either gets taken out by that Claymore, but if he spots that Claymore, what direction is he going to try and rotate? Is he going to try push back over 90? He's now got 2 players to worry about up the staircase as he moves up. You see the fight going down for Bathroom here. Shaiko kind of defending Bathroom super aggressively as Kingsley falls to Nuno, who is rotating up the staircase. Nuno standing high, gets the shots off onto the Sophia, gets 2 off of Powers, falls to Nuno. So great push there by Nuno, rotating up main staircase. We saw him sitting down on the south side of staircase. We see the Ash now moving up red, trying to find Nuno, who's now holding that south side study room aviator area. They can't really push sites until they get rid of him. I believe that was the Zafia pushing through. The Legion spots him, gets the shots off. Jaiko just holding that wall. They've really got them all pinned down with 1 remaining against 5. Odin takes the joystick out with the refrag coming by Shaiko. Absolutely great defensive round by PYK. Their roaming style finally pays off for them.
PYK, of course, playing around very, very... I don't know, it's like the success of the round was dependent on the deployable shields. As we can see, 1 was placed towards bathroom side, being played by the Walmar, 1 on side, holding down master bedroom. Very well played in a spot that could provide cover, not only being played off of, caught the, of course, opposing side off guard. As you stated, coming into different sides, pushing together, holding together, and of course the roaming getting behind. Of course, being top floor, a lot of the rooms are back to back or somewhat connected, even connected by a soft wall. If they have the possibilities to move from one point to another, Charco obviously doing a 6 pick from Tachanka towards Jaeger. Pretty interesting choice, of course. The Tachanka, they should expect a fake out. I don't think anybody would expect the Tachanka to be played, especially on such high level, of course, Pro League. Maybe even for a meme, but of course it is a very serious team, very serious tournament, and from there, the Jaeger, of course, being a lot more beneficial, no matter these situations, prevents any ADSs and grenades coming in, allowing them access to ensure that they can stay behind the spots they're holding, not worry about a cooked grenade that can possibly take them out, or maybe even take any sort of damage.
So I think PYK finally realized that their kitchen defense had some flaw that VDROP were really able to utilize fairly easily and get that advantage for those first 2 rounds. PYK going for another top hold here. I'm sure we're going to see their roaming style come out once again. Sweet going for the trap operator of Capcan. I think that's the first time we are seeing Capcan being placed, but he's placing all of these Capcans on the north side of the map, an area of the map that we've seen VDROP push every single round. It's an area of the map that they want to take control of, especially when attacking most of these bomb sites. You want to get control over that main the master bedroom, statutory room, trophy room area. With all of those Capcans out there, I'm sure it's going to be a good, or at least the Romans will be able to utilize the sound cues of either gunshots going off. We see Capcan kind of peeking the window a little bit here. If he stood up there, he would have just caught the head of one of the VDROP players. Nuno playing just outside of Hunting Vault in Aviator Room with Kiko on the main staircase.
And we see Capcan, of course, been a very good idea. Once again, using that possibility to place the traps north side, which it usually do push, especially from what has happened before. It has worked 2 times. Might as well try it again, but this time around they're going more towards sides, playing super aggressive towards study, having 3 players on that balcony, and the other 2 I'm not exactly too sure, but they should meet up fairly soon, playing off one another, as we can see. Coming from down below, having a drones coming in, we do know that we have 3 defenders on bomb A, and Bandit is holding bomb B by himself. And exactly, of course, Capcan roaming around, very interesting choice, of course, of his gun, etc. with the reflexes that have came to the game. He's a very strong operator to have, and his traps can never fail, especially with how aggressive it comes to the final rounds. But Power's taking down Numo, Magnetism takes down Chaka, so now it's in a 3v5 situation. Make that a 2v5 situation. Diffuser is down, 3v3 situation. I'm sorry, let me correct myself there. Shots are still getting traded, attacking side, pushing together from red stairs, making their way towards studies.
I don't think that PYK were ready for such quick of a push. Kiko kind of dropping down on staircase. I don't think he realized that there was 2 players there. Joystick taking out Kingsley with Odin with the refrag, taking out Joystick. We're left in a 1v2 with the Capcan trying to rotate back onto site. He is not sure how he's going to get back onto site. Has to reopen that door. The Maverick pushing the corner straight away, but the shots come off and the diffuser goes down. We're left in a 1v1 here with Sweet on a slither of health. Power still having to go get the diffuser with 25 seconds left on the board. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure Sweet's going to hold back a little bit, take some shots off just to make sure that the plant's not going down. He can use the sound cues. Powers rotates back onto A, is probably going to go for the plants behind the bomb site here. Sweet pushes into B, takes a few shots off, is going to push through, rotates. Now, I'm sure he knows that the plant's going down behind the bar, gets the shots off onto Powers, and with a slither of health, pulls the round back for PYK. PYK bringing it back to a 2-on-2. Absolutely great gameplay from both teams here. Sweet with the rotate back onto site was absolutely brilliant, especially with the way he approached that. He knew that there was 2 players that had control of site, took the shots onto Maverick, went back, retreated back onto red, held red, waited for the diffuser to go down before pushing back through B, back onto A, and getting those shots. Great gameplay.
Of course, Sweet playing on stairs, playing very slow, playing very defensively, taking down, of course, Maverick, dropping diffuser, playing off time, 20 seconds left for the attacking side to get bomb. Of course, still rotate around without being shot themselves and get bomb down. Sweet playing it very cleverly, going through the rotator hole, which was made. Rotator honestly pushing wide, catching off the last attacker off guard and getting the diffuser. Still 40 seconds left. Really well played, winning back the round, leaving it back to a 2v2, a super close game. Currently the last 2 rounds being in favor of Team PYK, but the first 2 rounds, of course, they go in favor of VDROP. Can we see something else? Once again, will we at this point on moving super close, or will we expect another 2-round lead Because the 6 pick being chosen from of Legion towards Valkyrie. Once again, very important. Velo, of course, being a very large map. The camera's always playing a very important role. This time again, we're going towards kitchen side. Being ready, actually top level control, being extremely, extremely important. Can the Valkyrie help in any way or form? Help them identify how many people are above, exactly who and where?
You know, we saw both first rounds, Pika trying to defend this kitchen site and them failing to do so. We see a lot of the shields coming out by Pika once again, which saved them on the, I believe it was the third round. They utilized a lot of those shields. We did see now that in the fourth round, the round that just finished, we had 4 out of the 5 Pika players playing on site. But once again, their roamers were the ones that were able to save them. You know, the Capcan rotating back onto the site is the reason they won that round. So I'm sure we're going to see, you know, 1 or 2 of these roamers from Pika coming out once again. I mean, they've got to utilize that without a jackal trying to hunt them down. And we've also seen VDROP haven't really cared about trying to take out these roamers. They're going straight for site control.
So Kudu, on that note, having them go straight towards South, getting bombed down, playing off that, would you rather recommend them focusing, maybe pinpointing them, sandwiching these roamers early on, put them in a position where they can at least get the trade, if anything, maybe just get the player advantage early on, and then make their way towards South, or then keep doing what they're doing, and then from South, defend, and hopefully, once again, in a 1v2 situation, it'll work out.
You know, it's kind of a clutch 22 right now for with VDROP. You know, if they go for these roamers, they got to worry about time. But they've been utilizing their time well enough that they can go get the plant down, put the pressure on those roamers to rotate back to sites. If they put enough pressure on site, those roamers are going to get called back by their team. They then don't have to worry about all of that time. But, you know, saying that, it's been 2 rounds in a row now where these roamers have been able to pick them off and irritate them. As we see that Shaika with a beautifully placed C4 taking out Magnus, who is their thermite. So we won't be seeing any more hard walls being opened unless they try use those canisters from Oda. Nunu with a hard roam coming up from basement. It looks like he's rotating now back towards the south side. Probably going to rotate back up main staircase, get back onto the top floor. We see Odin loses 50% of his health to a C4. Kali taking out Sweet, left in a 4v4 situation here. Odin just on 50 health.
Only 1 minute remaining and counting down. Shots being traded. Kinsley taking on Charco. Player from above. What is really important. Top level control. Taking out Joystick, which was Odin. Behind the gun. Kiko finding himself a trade against Kingsley, who was a player playing above. Hatch once again. Diffuser is down. 2v2 situation. At this point, the defending side must just hold, of course, Diffuser, and then from there, worst comes to worst, prevent access to the side. They can pull back into any stage, but of course, the last attacking team playing above, having very good angles on towards side, trying to find a very cheeky, getting a drop, Hatch, trying to catch off the player, holding it off guard, but he did pull back, playing where he is safe. Yes, they can pull it out, go outside, with only 17 seconds left. It's pretty much guaranteed they have to rush the room. Fortunately, Odin from above could not see the player behind side. Kiko busy holding by himself, sees one player, could not connect shots. He fires it, does take down the guard, the diffuser. Maverick not too far behind, can he get the shots? Everything is happening, shots are being traded, and winning the round for, of course, Pika side, taking on Diffuser, helping out his team in a very difficult situation. Was very spotted behind the table, currently prone, can't really maneuver that much, but really, really well played, preventing, of course, Diffuse happening, and then at the last end, getting the trade.
The Romans once again saving the day for Pika. Absolutely incredible gameplay that we saw there by Nuno. We saw, I believe it was a 2v4 with just before Nuno was able to rotate. He got the beautiful pick off there onto the VDROP players, bringing it back down to a 2v2. Then all his teammate had to do was kind of hold it out while Nuno had to rotate back down onto site. The pre-fires coming out and obviously the refrags onto the last player there, ending the round for Pika. Again, it's very hard for VDROP to try and decide what they want to do here. They took the top floor control, but You know, they had cleared up top floor. They knew there was no roamers up there, but they had no idea that Nuno was going to rotate all the way from basement across the map, all the way to the south side of the map to come up staircase and back over to the north side. That's a long rotate for a roamer. I don't even think there's anything that VDrop could do to that besides trying to place down perhaps more nomads. Perhaps they need to bring some more claymores. But it seems like Pika is really utilizing the fact that there is no, I guess, a way for these players to track these roamers down, especially with the specific bans that have been coming out. And we're seeing a lot of, you know, like we just saw Kiko utilizing that barbed wire for those sound keys. And I'm sure we're going to see again roamers roaming down in basements and rotating it up. As we can see down on the map, I think we can see Nuno down in basement once again, but Sweet gets taken out by Kali, who I think Sweet was trying to go for a peek out of like a sneaky peek there, but Kali getting the better and taking out the roaming Ella.
Last round was actually quite amazing to think. Magnetism was up above, busy honestly using one of his thermites on the hatch with a beautifully placed Nitrocell. Unfortunately, was taken down on top of the hatch, which was busy thermiting. Still thermite going off the breach charge. His body fell through the hatch, including the bleed diffuser. I don't know if it was a coincidence or really well played from the defending side. From that, diffuser was down. But Kingsley reminding us this game, not last game, taking down a player. Sophia being taken down on stairs, shots being traded, a 2v4 situation in favor of the orange team. We have seen the defending side to clutch aside before Lamar coming in, taking down the utilities by the flashbang.
But once again, they have not gotten rid of Nuno yet. Nuno getting those shots off onto the onto Powers, who was trying to rotate back up onto Red to get towards his team, who's trying to push sides. We see Nuno rotating again. He's got full control of the south side now. I don't think he realizes that he has complete control of the shots coming out. The diffuser goes down. Again, Nuno, absolutely incredible shots, losing a little bit of health there. Pre-fires coming out and he falls. It's now a 1v2. Everything left to Shaiko trying to take these shots out. He has incredible shots, takes out both Odin and Magnetism. We're now left in a 1v2 and Shaiko is on full health. It looks like he's going to get a great shot here onto the Nomad. We're left in a 1v1 with the Ash on, you know, just under 50% health. I think he realized that he's lying down here. Final shots come out by Shaiko, clutching a 1v4 situation. Absolutely incredibly well done by Shaiko, holding that bathroom, letting them push him slowly, getting those shots off. They had no idea. They were so focused on Nuno rotating back up. Just great communication once again by Pika.
Nuno, of course, getting an initial shot down, preventing the diffuser getting placed. Of course, from there, downing a player, allowing Choco to rotate from behind, catching the players in the process of busy reviving the teammates. From there, really eliminating a 1v4 down to a 1v2, clutches one player off from bathroom, using it between a shield and, of course, the natural cover that the map provides, taking it from a 1v1 situation, already knowing the Ash is super low, has to get diffuser. If he does get diffuser, the sound cues are there, can rotate behind, can have so many room and possibilities to work off of. But from my understanding, it was only about 15 seconds left to get diffuser. If anything, go for the kill or go get diffuser down, which will, of course, will put the defending attacking side into a vulnerable spot. Can't really protect yourself unless you fake it out. Of course, time's still ticking down. You can't really fake it down in the final seconds.
So, Plet, what are you expecting here from, you know, VDrop? You know, what are their plans right now? It's their turn to now defend these sites. You think we're going to see very similar gameplay come out? This is the first time we're seeing a castle come out. How are you expecting Pika to kind of go about attacking these sites?
At this stage, I mean, VDrop, of course, playing very well, using a castle to eliminate different spots onto the side, which is actually very interesting. Yes, and of course, might not be the most effective against the Ash, which of course was taken once, the first one taken down from previous map, which was, of course, was Oregon. And of course, Sophia not too far behind. Castle can honestly be the deciding factor exactly if they can waste those utilities early on. But honestly, VDrop must this stage must just be able to continue what they're doing, get those early picks, get them the player advantage, but then from there, instead of peeking one by one, maybe play closer towards the teammates. Maybe if I can say if anything, peek as a 2-man, peek as a 3-man, use your player number, your number advantage to, of course, your advantage. From there, it'll be very difficult for the last player on, of course, that situation, really having the pressure to win the round, especially being in this tournament as well, adding additional pressure to maybe, if anything, fall underneath the pressure, let the pressure hit him, and then use your number advantage just to win it.
So it looks like most of the Pika players right now are utilizing their drones, trying to make sure that there's absolutely no roamers on that south side. Something we didn't kind of see happen when we saw V-Drop playing. They pushed straight for bedroom control. Looks like Sweet's already got full control of Red's staircase, but we see Powers busy rotating up Red, catches Sweets by surprise. Guess that drone work didn't utilize 100%. Shaiko peeking down Red. He's now concerned about where Powers is, but Powers has already rotated all the way back and is probably going to rotate back up Astronomy staircase.
Of course, peeking the situation, can't rely on the roamers as they need to be the ones attacking. Instead of like previously we saw the attackers pushing together from master bedroom, they're playing 2-2, which is quite interesting and exactly what they need to do. Of course, Sophia not too far behind is the sledge playing with one another. Both Nuno coming fast, taking down the caddy, allowing the teammates to work through, push through, get the different kills. Also not too far behind the 1-9. Chaco taking a lot of damage himself, but returning it against the different players. Still in a 4v4 situation. Joystick taking on Kingsley. Chaco is currently down, being res by the Wama. Can they catch him off guard? Nuno can't get him the fuse down, but he faked it out. Power takes on Chaco. Odin takes on Pico. Shots still being traded from both sides across this little arch. Players are falling down. There is Sledge down. Diffuser at his feet. Powell takes on Nuno. Joystick in a 1v3 situation. Nuno has currently left the game. Probably a DC. Unfortunately enough, it was, if I can say it was taken down previously, but still, Joystick's still in a situation that he can win it. We've seen so many brilliant comebacks from the Team Pika side. Can Joystick do exactly what his teammates have? Can he say as well, listen, my teammates had some fun. They had the thrill of doing these clutches. Can I do it as well?
Shot coming off by the Jaeger, who rotated back up Red again. The Roamers taking control of this gameplay. It's going to be a rough 1v3 here with only 8 seconds left on the clock. Gets the shots onto the Jaeger. Joystick now needing to clutch 2 more players. Tries to take the shots off. And the final shots go to Odin, who takes down Joystick. I'm sure we're going to see a rehost now as we see the players busy leaving the lobby as one of the Pika players kind of dropped out halfway through the round there. Interestingly enough, V-Drop using very similar strategies in defense when it comes to defending that top side. They also had one roamer that was all the way down in basement, something that I don't think Pika expected. They had completely droned out the top floor. They had secured the south side of the map. They had secured both the second and third floor. They knew that red stairs was clear, but with the Jaeger rotating back up red stairs, got the shots off. They all of a sudden had to constantly worry about him. Then once they were pushed onto site, all the Jaeger did was rotate back down around, came back up red stairs, caught them from behind, and all of a sudden they were left in a 1v3 situation.
Honestly, V-Drop as well, using, like you said, similar strats towards Team Pika. But I mean, very interesting how they evolved, they made it their own. We saw the same deployable shield within Bathing, but this time having a bandit charge drop behind it, provided a little bit, a little bit more defense. If someone jumps over it, someone touches it, of course, the sound cue, someone gets hurt. But very, very well played. And of course, both sides coming down to, of course, the roamers. Maybe from Team Pika side, of course, now on the attacking side of things, maybe they should make use of more anti-roamers. Maybe, like I said, sandwich those roamers, then from there push you south. But of course, coming down to the very, very, I don't want to say a couple of seconds. I mean, very interesting how everything has evolved since the beginning of the game. A lot closer game compared to the first map on Oregon. And honestly, Kudi, do you have any, advice to how either V-Drop can hold their lead and how Team Pika can continue doing what they're doing and maybe take on the second map, preventing V-Drop going to map 3?
We're seeing very interesting gameplay here by both teams. The first map was kind of practically a whitewash by Pika, being very dominant in both their attack and defense strats. We're seeing on this map the individual players are really coming to the game in this map. We've seen individual players that are roaming being able to pick off that attacking side. So it really comes down to trying to stop these roamers from taking control of how this attacking team is trying to push objective. So I'm not really sure how these attacking teams are going to do that. With PYK now attacking, it'll be interesting to see how they try and stop these roamers. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more claymores coming out. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of nomad gameplay. Um, I'm not really sure. We probably are going to start seeing them, at least I hope, start clearing out basement before they start pushing even top floor. At least sending 1 or 2 players down to clear out basement to make sure that that Jaeger isn't roaming down there and utilizing those staircases on either side of the map.
Like as seen before, we have seen, of course, top ground control being played, and of course the kitchen side of things. Do you think this would honestly switch up the different places where the bomb is being held? The objective side of things, but I mean, it's really interesting. Of course, top level control has obviously been a very dominant factor in this game, especially being better. Most of the floor itself being a very soft and breachable, being opened up by either the Ash, the Sledge, of course the Sophia itself. Very interesting how everything's came together. Like I said, a very, very close game this time around compared to the first map. But honestly, only time will tell. Players are busy joining in as we speak. I'm sure this, like I have said this before, this provides players an opportunity to actually speak of what happened. Where can they improve? Yes, of course, it's not a good thing of a rehost and stuff. But I mean, might as well make use of every couple of seconds now instead of going into the game, then try to organize everything while everyone's trying to follow the strats.
Yeah, I think, you have some very good points there. I think it's going to be, I'm hoping that we end up going to map 3 here. Just seeing these two teams kind of slug it out during this map. I'm hoping that, perhaps VDROP just needed to kind of, get comfortable in this gameplay, get comfortable at this level. Perhaps they were just a little bit nervous playing in this quarterfinals. I'm sure this is a big deal for most teams. It's been an absolutely awesome tournament being put on here by Meraki. Extremely professional. So I'm sure a lot of that is coming. And obviously, we have some incredible supporters. The chat constantly going, the viewership constantly going. This is the first time that a lot of these players are playing in front of so many people. I'm sure that a lot of nerves are coming out. So perhaps now that VDROP is in this game, they're now leading the game. Perhaps we'll see some, good strats coming up from them. They feel a lot more comfortable, and we're going to see a very close game here between these two teams.
As you did state, of course, being played with such a large audience, us casting them as well, definitely is quite a different atmosphere compared to them just playing like normal scrims, playing these little tournaments that they set up, maybe even just playing a ranked itself. Of course, there's like a lot of additional pressure, but it's quite interesting how they're handling, of course, how they're adapting, making these individual plays, putting their own names out there, representing not only themselves, of course, their teams and organizations. I think for what we have seen, they've honestly done really well. Of course, map 2, of course, being Pika's map, quite interesting exactly how close it is. Honestly, I thought them being their map, especially seeing how dominant the first map was, of course, being VDROP side, I thought it'd be quite a landslide for them, and honestly, for them just to win it all the way. But VDROP, of course, seeing they aren't out of it just yet, they can still win it, still turn it back. Of course, something's just been changed. Of course, something's been edited. But as soon as things go underway, we can't wait to see exactly what happens and show that all the signals are right. I think everyone is ready. I think let's not keep you guys here for much longer. Let's just hop straight into it and see what the teams have in store for us. Let's see what new strats they've came up with and see where they left off.
Yeah, so for those of you that are new to Rainbow Six Siege or are just tuning in just to kind of see what these games are like, the bans stay the same, the rounds stay the same, the last round that was won stays the same. So these teams have to pick the exact same I guess type of lineups that they were playing. So we'll just jump straight back in. We're seeing very similar lineups coming out here by VDROP. Once again, utilizing that castle. It seems like PYK are going to play that Sophia to try and get rid of the castle as well as the Ash. We see a Sledge being played, which can also obviously easily take care of the castles. Ella being brought out once again, Jaeger being brought out once again, as well as a Bandit. And I'm sure all of those being brought out, I'm sure we'll see either the Jaeger or the Bandit kind of roaming around, as well as the Ella. I believe the Ella got picked out pretty early in the last round, so it'll be interesting to see what Kingsley has in store for us utilizing that Ella. But we're going straight down to Kitchen dining room, which is something that Pika struggled to defend those first 2 rounds. What are you kind of expecting here from VDROP in trying to defend these rounds, Plet?
Of course, VDROP, of course, being the first aggressor towards the map, they, of course, it is their strat to get top floor dominance. I'm sure, of course, they did obviously expect the opposing team to maybe do exactly the same thing, if not steal their strats, do what they did, maybe try to do it better. I'm sure they'll do exactly the same thing, maybe counter it. If anything, maybe just leave Sats and, of course, first of all, eliminate any roamers where they can so early on, then pull back towards Sats. Maybe stay away from the spots that they have prepared, the spots that they know they can be shot from. Play in a more secure spots. Use the maps, if I can say exactly, hard surfaces as cover, instead of just relying on the chance of them being caught off guard by these cheeky angles. As you can see, reinforcements don't cover all the way up. They can be opened up through gunfire, through sledge, and of course different Sophias. And then from there, grenades can be tossed onto Sats. Possibly taking off a player, maybe breaking some utilities, maybe some devices, which of course will be a massive blow towards the defender side of things.
I think Pika definitely expected a kitchen hold here with the amount of soft destruction players that they have with them. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of vertical gameplay here. But in order to do that vertical gameplay, they're going to have to take control of Master Bedroom. They're going to have to make sure that these roamers, such as Powers, who's roaming up there, are dealt with. They're going to have to utilize their drones. It'll be interesting to see if Powers tries to defend this top by himself, or if the Ella is going to kind of push and help. But we see the entire, well, not the entire Pika team, but 3 of the Pika players are pushing the south side of the map all the way from the opposite end. We see both Kingsley and Powers roaming upstairs on that north side, trying to protect the top floor to make sure that that vertical gameplay doesn't come out. But we will see. I mean, with 3 players pushing from that south side, it should be a good fight. Powers kind of just holding trophy room. I believe he has the Elo just behind him here, kind of backing him up. Or at least the Elo might have just come upstairs just to open that rotate. The one punch hole coming out just to try get some of that gunfire from the attacking side so that Powers knows where they're pushing from. Shaiko getting droned in by his teammate. The pings coming out, shots coming off, misses the headshot onto the Jaeger. Jaeger's now rotating back down the staircase, decides, you know what, let's get out of here. Rotates all the way back down into basements, as we've seen constantly done by this player. Extremely interesting, but now, Pika have full control of upstairs. If they get those nomads down, they get those claymores down, which we've already seen 2 claymores have been placed. Powers rotating all the way back up. Looks like he's going to try go back up main staircase all the way from south side. So hopefully the Pika realize this and are ready for it. And they are. Watching the flank takes out Powers, who's trying to rotate back up the staircase. So that gets rid of all of the roamers, I believe. I think all 4 of the other VDROP players are back on sides.
Of course, Powers rotating above, first of all, top floor, being heavily tagged for about half his HP, went all the way down the stairs, went all the way around. Unfortunately, was thrown out by the attacking side. 2 players making their way straight towards start. Of course, Elo playing with their own shotgun down below, trying to reverse what they're doing towards them, trying to pin them to start. Diffuser is going down, but Joystick providing cover. Nico takes down Kingsley, Chaka takes down Magnetism. Sweeney takes down Odin. A beautiful Natrasol takes down Joystick, leaving in the 4v1 situation. Unfortunately, Kelly could not redo the whole clutch that Team Pika could have, but really well played. Currently, Team Pika with a 2-round lead. Of course, being a lot more dominant towards the attacking side of things. Maybe they aren't so comfortable defending or weren't expecting the same type of aggression from VDROP.
I think that once they had gotten rid of Powers on the rotate, I think that Pika felt a lot more comfortable in what they were doing. The Thermites, I believe it was Joystick, making that plant right behind, utilizing the defender's utility. So he planted straight behind one of the shields there, being protected from the bandit, who I don't actually think. I think the bandit was too busy in a gunfight with someone that was playing vertically, that he didn't hear the plants going down. So great utilization by Pika. They're using their vertical gameplay, but also sneaking through and getting that plant off while the rest of the defenders were too busy worried about the players on the second floor.
I mean, really well played. Like I said, being distracted, even making use of the defending or the opposing team's own utility to global shield to your advantage is a major advantage. Of course, having installed all your utilities such as flashbangs, maybe your own operator special ability, maybe like you say, thermite, especially have the diffuser back behind. Maybe not having the best gun in initial gunfight, but having his teammate chief right behind him to back him up. If taken down, at least regain diffuser, try it again, wait for his teammates to rotate behind. Honestly, corner them in, try to get them from different angles. We do see Mu being played, which was honestly a very important deciding factor previously with the drones providing information, catching off the roamers. We did mention this before the game started. Can we expect a mute? And yes, we can. Of course, both Cade and Banner being played, especially for top ground control, preventing access to the different reading and studies so early on, and Aviator will definitely prove successful.
So we saw the importance of trying to get rid of those roamers before pushing onto side. We saw how much it was able to help PYK4. We got Kingsley holding 90 here, pushing back onto north side. You know, great shots coming out by Shaiko, completely reading where these players are playing from. Gets both players down on V-Drop's side. So the roaming style not working too well for V-Drop on this this round. I don't think they expected PYK4 to push Master Bedroom so quickly, especially utilizing that Nomad and Ash push together. They were really pushing pretty quickly. It looks like they have complete control of 90 area now, with all three of the defenders back onto site, opening up rotates, getting ready for that final push onto site to go for plants. Grenades coming out to try push these defenders out of the area, trying to shoot the drone, realizes that the shots are coming out, C4 going out, misses the sledge that's hiding behind, shots coming out, Nuno takes out Powers, Magnetism takes out Sweet. We're left in a 4v2, now it's a 4v1 as Nuno takes out Odin. Plant's going down by Kiko, who gets the plant down just before the plant goes down. Shaiko finishes off by taking out Magnetism. Great round there by PYK4, pushing very quickly through Master Bedroom, taking out the two roamers that were sitting in trophy. After taking out those two roamers and sitting in trophy, they pushed Red Stairs Landing, immediately pushed Aviator Room, that C4 missing from the bandits, not taking out the sledge, allowed two of their players to push in, take out the sledge, bringing it down to a 4v2. While that was all happening, we had the rest of the PYK4 team rotating back through Games Room, taking out the Kaid, and finally cleaning it all up. Great gameplay there by both teams.
Of course, Romans between the two maps been heavily relied on either winning a round or being the final push, the final deciding factor of who wins the round. Pretty interesting how they played out. Of course, Romans being high risk, high reward. Unfortunately, if two of your Romans be taken away so early in the game, already being, I think, say limited to your amount of rooms. I mean, especially that side alone, you have 3 different doors to watch. One from bar side, 2 with an aviator room. Quite interesting, rather unfortunate, but really well played by Team PYK4 for sticking together, pushing as a team. As we saw a different ratio of 3 guys pushing together, 2 other players playing off one another, using the drones to actually bait out the defending side to rather focus on the drones. And then as soon as the drone kills knows that the opposing team is about to shoot it, the player pushes in. But the 2 nades as well coming into play, especially peeking it so wide, made sure that the nade will make contact no matter what. The 2 nades combined, I think, took over 60 HP of the defending side, and from there, Team PYK4 once again on round, of course, 6 rounds, 3-round lead to the orange team.
Yeah, I think so. PYK4 now sitting on match point here. We saw last game as well. The second we were on match points, we saw V-Drop pulling out the Clash. It seems to be their go-to operator when they're losing. Or at least when they're on match points. The roam coming out now by Cali as well as Powers. So it'll be interesting to see if these two roamers are able to work together. Shaiko making sure that he's not still on the staircase there. I'm not really sure where Powers and Cali were able to push, but we see Cali drops all the way back down, pushing back to north side. But now Powers has switched with Cali and is rotating back up the staircase. But we do see might actually get the shots off here. Nuno losing a lot of health. The Ash, I guess we do see one of the players now on 90. I don't know if they realize that he's pushed all the way up through Armory now.
As I said before, the Clash been a very important operator. Unfortunately, was taken down quite early on map 1 by a teammate. Can it prevent the same crucial mistake? Unfortunately, it does tend to happen either from the attacking side or defending. Let it be Monty, let it be Clash, making their way towards side, using the honors decoy to find information, get the call outs, even waste a few of the ammo within the magazine. Joystick taking down Kelly. Nuno not too far behind, taking on Powers, fine, taking down that Roma, very important side impact to Clash being pushed now. Nuno taking on Magnetism as well, even in a 5v1 situation while the Clash is taken down. Shaka not too far behind to finish up it, taking on Kingsley, and that is map 2 done.
Wow, absolutely incredible gameplay there by PYK4. Powers missing those shots, those crucial shots onto the player. You know, he saw he was in Hunting Vault, the player was running through Aviator Room, was able to start the gunfight there, got a few shots off, but missing those important shots, getting the headshot onto himself, falling. I think we would have seen a different round there if he was able to get those initial shots off, but unfortunately, obviously he was not. And PYK4 really just capitalized straight onto that. The second that had happened, they immediately all pushed side together, collapsing down on the Clash, who had absolutely no chance with 3 players around her, pushing it down onto, I think it was a 1v4. You know, just great gameplay once again by PYK4, utilizing the fact that they had taken out those roamers.
Really, really well played by both sides. Want to congratulate them once again. But of course, Team PYK4 being the victorious over both maps. Of course, first map being, of course, the drop side, and the second map being Vellum. There was their choice of map. Really well played. Second time around, it was a lot more closer, especially in the early stages, which we saw this as well in map 1. I'm not too sure exactly later stages. V-Drop unfortunately couldn't pull through towards the end, but really, really well played. I think as well, let's just take this time as well to thank the viewers for sticking around, watching this amazing gameplay from both the players and the organizations involved. And honestly, please guys tune in again later tonight for the other teams, which will be the PC side, if I'm not mistaken, at 7:30. And of course, until it ends then, of course, you see the different sides from the different, I can say different platforms, different consoles, to see how the different levels of players are, how different players react to different situations. And I think it'll definitely be an exciting one.
Yeah, definitely tune in later. I know that there's a lot of you that stuck around to watch this great PS4 quarterfinal. Next up, we'll be obviously having that PC side. Be sure to hit that follow button to get those notifications when this channel goes live. We got some great gameplay coming up in the next few days. This weekend, we'll have the semifinals as well as the finals. Absolutely incredible tournaments. Be sure to tune in. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you all.
We'll see you guys later. Once again, thank you for tuning in.
Cheers.